All right, so here we go, guys. I've been playing fantasy franchise mode in NBA Live 19 for better part of the last year. Kind of shifted gears and veered away from, NBA 2K and the franchise's continual issues, and I don't know, it just seems like a random stream of animations rather than fluid gameplay at the end of the day. So, you know, kind of pivoted and went back in time with Live 19, the one edition. So, what I'm going to do here today is boot up a fantasy draft franchise, and I typically go the fantasy draft route because the trading system is a little more realistic, and the salary cap is enforced a bit more. I'll say when you go into a standard franchise mode in this game, because they added some free agents post release in that summer of 2018 free agency, I believe, the year that LeBron went to the Lakers and Randall to the Knicks and Kawhi to the Clippers. Um, it messed with some of the salaries, and you got people on $1 million per year salaries who were superstars, and it messed up the trading system, which the Trade Finder was an incredible addition to the game. I played NBA Live 18, and I'll tell you right now, you could barely um, process a trade on that particular game. But I will say, this fantasy draft franchise, you've got a little more flexibility, and yeah, so I booted up. So I'm gonna pick my Knicks just for this one. I'll definitely throw out some other teams and maybe dabble with some standard franchises just to see, if I can build with the existing roster rather than creating a new. But yeah, let's get going. So the draft pick is always randomized, and I'm just gonna go first pass, whatever I get, and make the best of it. So, we've got a pretty nice selection of stars, old and new. Um, yeah, if I'm going for best player available, it's going to be Giannis. But at the end of the day, my favorite player in the modern NBA is Kyrie Irving. So I'm going to pick him to lead the franchise. So that's my first pass. Now, let's see where the draft takes us. All right. Jaylen Brown made it a little lower. You know, this is one of his first couple seasons in the league. I played with him before. Definitely outperforms that rating quite a bit. But yeah, let's see what we got here. Got some of my all-time favorite players that are now overseas, but yeah, it's still kind of in their later prime, like Jabari Parker and Rubio. Um, but I think I'm gonna go with likely Jaylen Brown because one thing I'll say on this game is size matters. Um, Weight is a very size and weight is a very effective method to really just dominate your opponents in this game. That's one thing I found. You play big lineups like we do in the modern NBA, that teams employ, then you can just dominate. I mean, my point guard will maybe be 6'3", but I try to make the rest of my team 6'7" and up, at least in the starting five, and just round out this larger than life lineup. So let's go with Jaylen Brown, only to reunite this former Celtics backcourt that was short-lived. Um, for the next pick, though, just knowing there's one player available who is just misvalued um, in the NBA Live 19 system, and Luka Doncic, 85 rated. He's already a superstar. classified as one, at least in terms of role on this game. So I'm going to pick him to play the three. Might just flip him at the end of the day because, you know, he plays a little slow in this game. Athleticism and length are key, and he leaves a little bit to be desired there. I'm going to say with the fourth pick, I'm probably going to go Michael Porter Jr. and just kind of make this work, just picking upside alone. I'm going to go heavy on some wings right here. Pick my boy OG Anunoby because while his handle is about 75 rated on this game, I love the player progression system. It's really cool because you can just, pinpoint specific attributes that you want to develop a player, and strengthen their weakness. Granted, like, you're not going to make Ben Simmons a great three-point shooter. He has a 30 rated three-point shot, so that's going to take quite a bit of time to achieve. But yeah, you can try. All right, but we're here in round 6. One thing I found is that you end up missing on guys if you wait too long with some of the snake draft here. So I'm going to go Mitchell Robinson. A little bit of a New York Homer pick here, but I'll tell you right now, he's got 3 badges, 20 years old, already 80 rated, and his development is very quick, I notice, on this game. So I'm going to take him in the 6th round. All right, here we go, round 7. And I'm going to make trades once I get out of this draft. I'm going to, pick probably some of the more valuable players that I think I can flip, but also guys that, I'd prefer to have on the roster as well. So it's going to be a little bit of balance of both. I know Mo Wagner's got some value. I traded him before. He's actually a sneaky good player. A lot of NBA Live 19 players know he's kind of like a hidden gem, but his defense is awful, and you'll go to the end of the game and you look at his plus minus, and it'll be kind of dreadful. But he's fun to play with nonetheless if you can kind of pair him with a defensive-minded forward or a rim protecting big. So. All right, round 8, we got Royce O'Neal, we got Anthony Simons, we got my boy Lonnie Walker Jr., or the 4th, who's out of the league now. We got Justice Winslow. We got some impressive talents. I will probably, who do I have right now? So let's see what we got thus far. We got Kyrie, Jaylen Brown, Luka, Porter Jr., OG Anunoby, Mitchell Robinson, and Mo Wagner. So we could use a backup point guard, but I may end up just trading for one at the end of the day, because one thing you'll find is there's a lot of older players near the end of their careers on this game, and they'll have a high overall rating, but they'll linger late into drafts, and you may not even want to select them. They really have no value when you try to flip them. So I tend to go for some of the lower rated, higher upside picks, and this is a tough pick. You'll see I'm always freezing the time, because you can let it run. It's a minute 30. If you're able to pull it off in that time frame, good on you. I just I don't really like being under the gun, under the pressure here. So this is the best option for me to just sit back and enjoy this game. All right, I think we're gonna have to pick Melo here. I don't really want to miss out on my guy. There's still some young upside picks we could take here. Oof. Oh, what am I gonna do here? All right. I'm going to go Melo. Still 80 rated. Got 3 badges, 1 silver, 2 bronze. One thing I've found with NBA Live 19 is there's stretch bigs on the game. Don't get me wrong, but I don't. The league was in the process of going positionless at the time, and yeah, you'll see Ryan Anderson, Dirk, and whatnot. But some of these guys, when you go over to their ratings, you come to find out they're not the greatest ball handlers. We've got so many, you know, Jason Tatum types in the league who can handle, who can shoot, but the dribbling, man. I mean, we got what we got a 72 has been the highest one I've seen. 75, James Johnson, um, Mr. Enforcer, end of the bench enforcer. All right, so round nine. One thing I know that this game is the center drop off is quite steep. I'm gonna pick Thomas Bryant. I know he has some trade value if I want to flip him at a later date, which I likely will. Coach DeSantetokounmpo just went. That was my guy. Oh well. Recruit Giannis. Just draft all his brothers. That's the key. All right. I'm gonna have to take my boy Emmanuel Mudiay. Great video game player. Great athleticism. Dunker. That could handle. Good size. Yeah, his shooting. I want to say his 3-point shooting in this game. I believe it's a BSJ is a 77. He's in the mid 70s. Let's confirm that. I'm gonna guess 73. Not that this is a yeah 73. So we've got some shooters. We've got some stretch bigs. Relatively. Mitchell Robinson 62 3-point shooting. I maybe earlier in his career he was practicing more of those, his off-season training videos. But yeah, and then Thomas Bryant's at 60 when I know he's definitely more capable than that. We watched him hit some threes in the playoffs last year. So, all right, what do we got next? So pick 11. I'm going Anthony Simons just because best available. All right, round 12. Let's see if we can snag Malik Beasley. I'm gonna give him that contract that bails him out here. 12th round value. Not sure how significant it'll be, but let's get him back on an NBA roster. And usually with these later picks in the draft, I'm just looking for people with, a particular, not elite skill, but a standout skill. Like here's someone 6'8", 21 years old. Mahalik, he's got some upside here. I know I can flip him for at least a second round pick because I've done it before. And yeah, we'll take him. There's I believe he plays overseas these days, but last name Metu, stretch big. Has 2 bronze badges at a 72 rating, which it's mostly because his defensive rating is significantly lower than average. But you'll see a guy with 88 dribbling. He's got a jumper. He can rebound. I'm just going to take a guy like this because in a pinch, not that anyone really gets injured on this game, unless you're simulating every single game and not playing at all, then there's definitely potential for that. And on the CPU teams, you'll see the injuries transpire often, but they never happen in game. That's one thing that I've learned playing this game quite a bit over the last year. All right, we got one last pick to round up this roster. Oh, my boy Jamal Crawford. That might have to be the finishing touch on this roster, but let's see. Kevon Looney, that's an interesting pick, but he's a little bit lower rated on this game. I think I'm gonna take my guy Jamal Crawford. I like to bring back some of my former Knicks, like favorites like Melo and Jamal here. So. All right, so 15-man roster. you always have 1275 mil in cap space, but you know you can with the trade finder you can go over that a bit. You know, dip into that apron a little bit. You know, well it's pre-apron times, but you know you can definitely there's more flexibility or wiggle room. It's not a hard cap so much. Oh, Andrew Bogut, I know I can flip him for another pick, I believe, at least. So I'm going to try to snag him here. And I know we're talking guys who are, you know, been out of the league for a couple of years now, but, you know, it's nonetheless, it's fun to play with these guys. And there's still plenty of young, you know, up and coming players. I mean, this was the Luka Trey Young draft. You know, you've got, you know, Jaren Jackson Jr., Michael Porter Jr., you know, beloved Kevin Knox. You know, there's a lot of nice pieces here. Unfortunately, NBA Live 20 was canceled, you know, relatively last minute, but we would have had an opportunity to play with guys like Zion and Ja Morant, Tyrese Maxey. You know, really would have been great to. Oh no, sorry, Maxey was the next year, but RJ Barrett, you know, top three in that draft. So you know, there's definitely some nice solid young pieces you can build a team around. Now, I mean, if you're going to make your own team, you know, let's say you want to. I think the Hawks are one of the few teams, or like the Grizzlies, where you can take Trey Young or Jaren Jackson Jr. and just build out a team around them. You know, you can do it with Michael Porter with the Nets. I mean, these guys are rated 84, 81, 81, you know, respectively. But you know, you can make it. You know, you can make something work. So let's hit the trade market. What I typically do here is, you know, dabble with the trade finder using Luca kind of as the foundational piece to make these trades. I'm gonna say let's make a limit of 5 trades. All right, I don't want to go crazy here. I can be trading all day on this game, so let's do about 5 deals here, and yeah, let's see what we got. So I try to hang on to the first round picks as long as I can, but you know the Knicks were you know not really performing very well in these days, so their picks have pretty high value, even in fantasy draft. Unless I just didn't draft that good of a team, and they're you know reflecting that in my top 7 first round pick here. But yeah, let's see what we got. So I'm gonna package Luca with I don't know maybe let's say Mo Wagner because he has a little bit of trade value I'd say. So let's see what we got. Even though it says none, that's not true. I can flip him for an asset. I've done it before. Um, some of these things are not so accurate on this game, but yeah. All right. Hmm. What you're trying to do here is you're trying to flip Luca into somebody who's closer to the 90 overall mark because what I've learned in this game is you could pretty easily make a 2-for-1 trade if you've got at least one high value player. Now, you know, Jason Tatum may be that guy, and I'd probably make this deal not because this looks like the greatest deal on paper, but because I know Jason Tatum can likely net me um, a superstar caliber player. So let's see what we can do here. I'm going to go to the trade finder, reverse it, you know, trade 4 instead, and I have no idea where any of these players are in the league at this point, so we're going to have to go through the list here and kind of evaluate what we're capable of doing. So let's see what we got. Ben Simmons is an interesting player in this game. He's like a baby LeBron. Not that I'm a big LeBron fan or anything, but you can play him like basically 1 through 4 in this game, and I played him at the 4 before and had a dominant roster doing so. Um, Joker 93. he was already ascending at that time. All right. I know we need some bigs on this roster. I'm gonna say let's shoot for Giannis. He's rated 99 in this game. I'd like to find him because he's basically a cheat code. I mean, some people say they didn't do the best job nailing his appearance with a face scan. The head scan is just it's a little suspect. He looks very young. I mean, it was early in his career, but it's this baby face look that doesn't really look too. We're not doing that trade. We're going to reverse do it. We're going to do trade away. Um, and let's see what we got here. Because I think if we take Tatum and package him with, granted, I could keep him. I'm pretty much going to have a nice little former Celtics roster here, which not too bad, really, after all. But I'd like to go get another 90 rated player because one thing I've found when you simulate on this game, if you've got two 90 plus, you've got two 94 rated players, you're going to win a significant amount of games. If you have a bench with mostly players high 70s, low 80s, it's kind of a necessity from what I've seen in this game. So let's package him with Trey Burke and that 37th overall second round pick. Let's see what we can do. If not, I'll probably flip him with Jaylen Brown. And yeah, we'll see what we can net. Trey Burke, no value. Huh, interesting. All right, there's a better way to do this. All right, let's see what these two together can net us. And if we kind of strike out on this one, we got a 5 trade max here. We've only made one. Miles Turner, that's always one of my go-to guys. But you know what? I think we just keep Tatum this time because there's really, like I was saying, there's not a ton of stretch bigs. There's not a surplus like there are in the league today. So I would say, yeah, 83 dribbling. I mean, Tatum, I'm the Celtics are the enemy technically, as a Knicks fan over here, but I gotta respect his skill set. Like he definitely is a unique player, and great player obviously. And even though he's only rated 86 on this game, I think I can work with it. So, all right, I'm gonna flip him, Jaylen Brown, Trey Burke, and this second round pick. And let's see if we can make it happen here. This is a little bit of a new route for me. I haven't really built a team with anyone really besides Kyrie here for the most part. So, we'll see what we can do. All right, Drew Holiday. That is an interesting addition because I know I can flip him for more, and I know I can do the same with Randall. Okay, wait, Ben Simmons actually I can do even more with, so I'll get Ben Simmons here. We can flip him. So now we've done, that's our second trade. I could keep Ben Simmons here as well, but I don't know. Let me see what's going on with, actually, let's circle back to this trade. My favorite corporate jargon. All right. Towns. I bring Towns home to New York. So this is my third. This will be my third trade technically. Okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna trade Ben Simmons and both my first round picks. I can go grab a bunch of other first round picks in other transactions anyways down the road. But I said only five. We've got a center, power forward, point guard. Everyone's 86 and up. Two more trades. I got to make the most of these. Got two picks here. Really, I need a starting shooting guard. And I'm going to start OG Anunoby, so I'd like to get a point guard that can really come off the bench and just kind of play with Kyrie, essentially. So someone like Alonzo Ball or something along those lines. Or one thing about this game is playing guys out of position, playing, the big lineup, like I was saying. It's a very effective method. So one option I'm considering here is starting Mitchell Robinson at center, Cat at the 4, Tatum at the 3, grabbing a 2, and then getting a point guard to kind of fill the void off the bench, which would be, potentially the Lonzo Ball type would probably be who I'd be going after there. But if not, maybe a Ricky Rubio or maybe someone, who's actually in the NBA at the moment too. Melo is always my legend. Got to keep him on this team. Let's see. We're going to take Lopez, Wagner. I've got some bigs who are down further in rotation, I believe. Yeah, I've got Thomas Bryant and company down there, so Wagner can go. And I'm going to use that Knicks second round pick. And let's see if we need a 2 guard and we need a point guard. And then I feel pretty confident about at least getting the season started and make some trades along the way and kind of see how this works. So I know Paul Millsap doesn't have a ton of value, but I may just go for broke here and make him my 4th trade. I've got 1 trade remaining to start. I would be comfortable using Anthony Simons or more likely Moutier as my backup point guard. They're only going to play 10 minutes anyways for the most part, and I can use some of these other guys. So I'm going to take Millsap. I'm going to trade him along with his no trade value. Wow. I knew that was a risk, but his 87 rating, or 86 rating was very enticing. Let's try to pull the old fantasy football 3-for-1 deal over here and see if we can flip these assets into, a really nice piece. Steven Adams would be interesting. This could be my 5th deal, and I just go super big with these lineups. But then I have no 2. And I said 5 deals, and I'm sticking to that. So I've got an idea. To make this 5th transaction work here, we're going to take him. I think we're going to bind him with one of these other second round picks. And this is going to be the final transaction, and then kick off this season, and check back in, and we can make trades along the way. Ooh, man, Steven Adams is just. I think I can just make it work with him on the roster right now. I'm not even going to trade that second round pick. I'm just going to go after Adams. Got to take him. We'll make a starting lineup, and we'll wrap it up for today, and we'll build from there. So let's see what we got. I'm gonna go to the rotation. It drives me nuts when these guys, all have these randomized numbers, but we're gonna make it work for now. I don't even know who can start at the 2 unless I just play super big lineup, Tatum here, oh man, this 5 trade limit really put me in a bind here. Like, what is he rated as a 2? Like, we have, oof. Jamal Crawford is playing the two. Should mess up that trade one now. I'll tell you that right now. We've got, alright, so Tatum to the 3. OG's going to have to come off the bench on this roster. Steven Adams, play the 5, him there. He's going to be a 6-man. He's a scorer. Modier should get some minutes. Yeah. Maybe I get 10 minutes. Give OG about 20. Mitch 20. Mello. This is going to be the rotation. Guys, we did the best we could. We definitely could have made a better team than this, but I tried to set these restrictions because sometimes things can get a little crazy on NBA Live. And, like I was saying, the trading system outside of the fantasy draft franchise is a little broken, but yeah, we made it work. We got a decent team here. Come back next time, we'll set some different parameters and try to make up, another roster. And I'll pick a different team, get away from my hometown Knicks. Maybe build up the Blazers or, whoever you want to see. And we'll go from there. So thanks again.